Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you all, and in particular our guests from abroad, to the 15th International Colloquium on the Transition from Jāhiliyya to Islam and on the formative period of Islamic tradition and history. I hope and I trust that our guests will enjoy their stay in Jerusalem, meet new colleagues, and that all of us will enrich ourselves during the lectures and discussions. Our colloquia are the brainchild of Professor Meir Kister of blessed memory, a unique scholar and the charismatic teacher of numerous Israeli scholars of Arabic and Islam of my generation. He initiated the first colloquium in 1979 and was what we call the spiritus rector of this enterprise during the first decades of its existence. The continuation of these colloquia and the publication of the research presented in them is a substantial part of his legacy, which we are trying to preserve and enhance. And I believe that there is some justification to say that these colloquia have become a permanently recurrent event on the scene of research related to classical Arabic and Islam. Before concluding these remarks, I would like to thank my colleagues on the organizing committee, and in particular Ella Landau Tasseron, as well as to the staff of the Israel Academy of Sciences and Humanities, Sima Daniel, Ziva Dekel, Yaakov Rotman, Kochi Mayraman, and last but not least, the Director General of the Academy, Galia Finzi, all of whom took care of the many administrative and technological issues. Without their dedicated help, this event would not have come about. According to the spirit of our times, the event is hybrid, and some of the participants will deliver their contributions or participate in the discussion from a distance. Ella Landau was supposed to say a few words now, but something went wrong here, so I will now call Professor David Harel, the president of the Academy of Sciences and Humanities, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Yohanan. First, I'd like to make two informal remarks. I was sitting here watching Yohanan looking around at the screen, and I remembered that maybe 20 years ago I gave a lecture at a very large conference somewhere in the United States. I think there were 5,000 participants, and of course they had these two enormous screens. And I was very curious to see what I looked like on such an enormous screen. So I told them that I'm going to turn around very quickly and see if I can manage to see. So it did not work. The other thing is, I'm sure many of you have been in managerial positions, deans, maybe heads of universities or whatever. And as in many such cases, when you enter such a new role, you make promises to yourself and to other people. One of the promises I made last year when I started this position as president of the Academy was, I will never do what politicians always do. They come, they give their remarks, and then they say, I'm sorry, I have to run out, and they disappear. And as in many of these cases, I cannot abide by that, and I discovered that very, very fast. So I'm going to rush out of here, maybe even before I finish, but I apologize for that. So good morning, everyone. My good friend, dear Academy member, Professor Yohanan Friedmann, chair of the steering committee for this conference, and his team, dear lecturers and distinguished guests here in our nice little lecture hall, and online, wherever and whenever you are watching us. I'm very pleased to see you all today and to open the 15th International Colloquium on the subject from Jāhiliyya to Islam. As we all know, you far better than I do, the Jāhiliyya, an Arabic term which means the age of ignorance, covers an extremely broad area of mainly pre-Quran topics, extending from religion to politics, from the characteristics and structures of society to the beliefs and habits of daily life. It is particularly fascinating to discuss such early age issues nowadays through a variety of the modern scientific perspectives of researchers from across the globe. As the person standing at the helm of an academy that heralds basic truth and deep knowledge, tries at least, to cultivate and promote scholarly and scientific endeavors, and works relentlessly to promote the status and importance of scientific work, we are extremely proud to host this particular conference, allowing us all to discover the magnificent and often surprising connections between that period and our own times. Anyone who reviews this week's rich program will no doubt find at least one angle of personal interest, whether it be poetry, tribal and social issues, or some spiritual or mentality-based connections between being Jewish and being Muslim. I'm confident that this conference will end with each and every participant having at least 4 or 5 new insights about the Jāhiliyya period and its influence on the modern shape of Islam and other religions. I would like to deeply thank Professor Friedmann, who is undoubtedly one of the most diligent, or should I say one of the busiest members of the Humanities division of our Academy. Last year he successfully and impressively led 2 joint conferences with the Hungarian Academy of Sciences commemorating Ignaz Yitzhak Yehuda Goldziher, one of the most important scholars of Islam. The first event was held in Budapest in November 2021, I think, and the second was here in Jerusalem just this last April. Dear Yohanan, our appreciation of your vigorous activity to strengthen the Israel Academy's connections with scientists and academies around the world is deep and honest, and as we can all see, your efforts are bearing wonderful fruit. I hope you'll continue to fulfill this extraordinarily important mission of our Academy for many more years to come. Finally, as Yohanan did, I would also like to thank the wonderful staff of the Academy for organizing this entire week, especially Sima Daniel, Ziva Dekel, Kochim Imran, and Yaakov Rotman, and as usual, Michael Zaguri, Neri leader of the Van Leer Institute, Yair Ashkenazi, and our fabulous CEO, Galia Finzi. I wish you all a very inspiring and eye-opening conference. Enjoy it. Thank you.